refer the matter for resolution. So that is, if, for example, you are requesting for a rectification by the land registrar, and the land registrar, the land registrar doesn't allow you, you can still resort to ADR for a resolution. One of the things that I can say, for example, is that there are certain sections of Accra where the survey work done initially was wrong. Medina, for example, if you take most of Medina, people's properties, those who registered at the Land Registry Act in the 1960s, are about 1,000 feet away because somebody made a mistake of using wrong grade values for the registration. So if you go and do a current cadastral plan, you'll find that somebody else's interest is registered in your place. Now, for them to correct the entire area, it has to be a project of the whole Lands Commission to correct everybody systematically. Because if you go and do mine, what you do is that you are taking somebody's interest off and then putting yours there. So you are not solving the problem. Even around Otish, from America House onwards, there is a shift of about 50 feet eastwards going towards Trasado. So a lot of people who have registered title, when they go to, they are doing transfers and then they bring the proper cadastral plans as of now, they will come and find that it falls, part of it falls on somebody else's property. And it can take a lot of time. So when you want to correct these things, and the Lands Commission does not agree with you, you will resort to ADR, but if they will not, still, then you have to go to court to satisfy that. Then if you are claiming an indemnity for maybe a transaction to land, and the Lands Commission refuses to grant you that indemnity against that particular thing, you must also do that. It looks a little abstract to you now, but it's because we haven't read the Land Act in detail. So it will be very good if, subsequent to this, you just take your time to read all the covenants under the ADR. I'm only highlighting the very important areas, and then you can follow it much more clearly. So sometimes you are asked to pay certain fees and charges in the Lands Commission. Some people feel they are arbitrary. For example, the original leases in East Legon, for example, you will find that people were asked to pay 48 cedis per annum. And they haven't paid for about 20 years. But as time went on, maybe in the 90s, a decision was taken to increase the rent up to a certain amount. And in the 2007, 2010s, there were also reviews. So when, for example, you come, the person will calculate 48 cedis times, because the lease will just say that you pay 48 cedis as this. They didn't, but it will be subject to review. But because you have not been paying your rent, when the valuers sit down and then do the calculations over time, maybe you will come and then they will tell you that you owe almost 40,000 cedis. So he will calculate 48 cedis times 120 years. No, this is maybe student living 1,000 cedis. So then an argument arises out of it. So in such circumstances, it is important for us to resolve it under ADR, where the parties are made to understand exactly the conditions under which those fees were charged. So usually there are hearings when it comes to there are hearings that are brought just as part of resolving disputes that arise out of applications for title. And sometimes people are not satisfied with the decision reached during those hearings. So when such things happen, you have to resort to ADR for resolution. Then So, for example, when there are investigations, I mean, sometimes our officers also make mistakes with regard to how entries are made in the register. And sometimes, there is a need for correction, or sometimes we destroy properties in the course of our inspections and the rest. So when, for example, compensation is determined for you and you are not happy with it, then that one too, it is better to resolve it under ADR as provided by the Act. So during especially compulsory acquisition, where there is a need for you to do very thorough inspection of the land, they may cut through your farm, and mostly this happen in the rural areas. They may cut through your cocoa trees and the rest. So, for example, there are Ministry of Agriculture assesses crop compensation rates, and that is what the Land Valuation Division of the Lands Commission uses. A lot of times, the person who, for example, plantain, will take it like, plantain for a year can produce so much bunches of distance. But the farmer is looking at it that, every year I plant my plantain and I get so much. Now you are coming to do compensation valuation and you are telling me that you pay me just for 1 tree for that particular period that I lost. But if, for example, you have left this plantain there, I mean, this is every day, every year it will be renewed. And so he will project the distance to the time he is there. So for his free, so he's too frank. He thinks that for the next 50 years I'll be eating from this plantain. So pay me for that loss. And then we will say that no, plantain is an annual crop. Once it's an annual, so you may need a compromise, and mostly it is done by ADR. And then compensation as usual, always generates different views. People have different views about the value of their property. Everybody sees his property as the most valuable around. So whatever valuation is that, they say that, oh, no, this is government rate. But when he sees the assistance of a valuer, private valuer, it will be higher. Then sometimes these arguments come, but then the two valuers will have to sit down and show the basis, and you can best do this under ADR.